If Black Panther and Storm have children, are they technically called Thundercats? Are people that are fans of Sebastian Stan Sebastian Stans? If you're a security guard at Samsung, are you technically a guardian of the galaxy? Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Eugene Reviews. And it's finally December, ladies and gentlemen. We've reached the final month of this year, 2020. And I think I speak for everybody when I say, bring on 2021. I'm sick and tired of 2020 already. But before we go into the new year, we have to relish in this holiday season, this holiday month, as it is, the time for Christmas, a time for joy, a time for laughter, a time for Thanksgiving. So being that it is December, I hope everybody out there has a happy holidays, a happy and Merry Christmas, and a happy and safe New Year. With that noted, let's go ahead and go over our next film for today, which is going to be the 14th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and the 15th MCU film that we've covered thus far here at Eugene Reviews, and it is Scott Derrickson's Doctor Strange. Now, Doctor Strange was released November of 2016 as a part of Marvel's Phase 3, the second film in their Phase 3. And it would highlight the introduction of a brand new MCU character known as Stephen Strange, played by the talented Academy Award nominated actor Benedict Cumberbatch. And remember how Iron Man delves into a genius billionaire playboy, and Captain America dives into a old World War II veteran awoken from cryogenic sleep, and Thor highlights a demigod? Well, here we highlight an egocentric neurosurgeon who has his capabilities as a surgeon taken away from him by a freak accident, his hands no longer working, and now having to resort to the teachings of the Ancient One in the mystic arts. And what follows with mystic arts is a lot of interdimensional, loopy cosmo type of visuals. I remember watching this film with a bunch of friends. I do recall a couple of my friends leaving towards the end of the film. For one, they didn't like it, and two, it presented visuals that really wasn't, let's just say it wasn't suitable for him to watch in his condition. But that's my quick history on Doctor Strange, at least watching it in movies, only watched it once. Let's go ahead and go into the 3 acts for both the development, execution, and response for this 14th MCU film, Doctor Strange. Act 1, development. Doctor Strange, take 1. So once again, Doctor Strange is the 14th film in the MCU overall. It is the second film in Marvel's Phase 3 for their entire cinematic universe. Now, while this is kind of fresh and new to see on the big screen, the development for Doctor Strange actually began somewhere close to the mid-1980s. Around 1980, 86, I want to say. The film was pitched around with Stan Lee at the helm, obviously really trying to push for this character to be showcased in theaters. And over the years, over the past, 20, 30 years, this film jumped from writer to writer, from script to script, from studio to studio. At one point, Wes Craven was even involved in the project, and David S. Goyer was involved in the project. But ultimately, with a bunch of hopping around from director to director, writer to writer, studio to studio, it ultimately got greenlit to be made as a part of Marvel's Phase 3 back in 2013, I want to say, 2010, 2013. And at the helm of directing will be none other than Scott Derrickson. And Scott Derrickson's been known for his horror films, so being a part of this strange, interdimensional, cosmic type of film would be somewhat his cup of tea. As far as the casting for Stephen Strange himself, the director Scott Derrickson, as well as the writers, always envisioned actor Benedict Cumberbatch to be at the helm of the main character. While nothing was official yet, there were notes that actor Tom Hardy and Academy Award winner Jared Leto were on the short list for the role of Doctor Strange. And just like in the same mindset of Scott Derrickson and the writers, the fans lobbied for Benedict Cumberbatch to be Stephen Strange. And this might be one of the first films ever in history to cast an actor for a certain role based on fan lobbying and envisioning. And ultimately, it came to be Benedict Cumberbatch was casted to be Doctor Strange for the film to be greenlit in 2016. As I mentioned, it goes through interdimensional, multidimensional cosmos, as well as, the practicing of mystic arts. It should be noted that they brought in an astrophysicist as a consultant in the film. Astrophysicist Adam Frank was brought in as a consultant to make sure that the film was as close to perfect scientifically as possible. All right, so a lot of notes. Once again, pitched as early as the mid-1980s, the fans lobbying for Benedict Cumberbatch to be Stephen Strange in the film and ultimately getting what they want with him being Doctor Strange. And then finally, the astrophysicist consultant brought in to make sure that the film was as close to accurate scientifically. All right, so that's the quick notes on the development. Let's go ahead and hit the execution for Doctor Strange. Act 2, Execution. Doctor Strange, take 1. So first things first with the Doctor Strange portrayal of this film. I think that Benedict Cumberbatch does a wonderful job in being Stephen Strange throughout the course of this film. In some fashion, Stephen Strange, at least portrayed in this, almost mirrors a similar Avenger character earlier in the MCU, Tony Stark. Egocentric, big-headed, just kind of almost lonely and isolated type of figure. Smart, genius, rich type of figure that all of a sudden has an unfortunate event really kind of altered the direction of his life. And whereas Tony Stark would go on to build the Iron Man suit, Doctor Strange would go on to study the mystic arts from the Ancient One, played by Tilda Swinton. And let's just say his introduction into the mystic arts and interdimensional cosmos was pretty trippy. Like, if you've seen the scene, what I'm talking about, where the Ancient One just kind of pushes him into these different dimensions and he's having this weird, just psychedelic trip, you'll know what I'm talking about. Just kind of the gravity of that scene. It almost looks like, I don't know the experience, but I've been told it's almost like, an LSD trip, an acid trip, if you will. But regardless of how it was portrayed, I think visually that was just a stunning sequence, was a stepping stone into what you could see later on in the film with other action sequences and other interdimensional sequences that you would see either Doctor Strange or other characters be involved in. Overall, I do think that the film was good. It's not terrible by any stretch of the word, but I just don't think it had any type of showing of it being great. It wasn't terrible, it wasn't great, it's just there. It's good. And what's crazy is it could be more. Even with all the visual treats and all of the mind-bending, shape-shifting visuals, I still felt like it could have been better. You know what I mean? As I mentioned, great visuals, whether it be the scenes in London, the scenes in New York, the scenes in Hong Kong, all of them were crisp, and I think that a lot of praise in regards to the film as a whole should go to the visual effects team. For a film that delves into the mystic arts and into multi-dimensional, showcasing, I think that the visual effects team behind it did a wonderful job in kind of grasping the tone of it, especially being that it's a Doctor Strange film and we haven't seen a character like this, possibly ever. So to kind of kickstart it and give us a great first impression like that was pretty good. And I, for one, am pretty entertained by the Dormammu scene, where Doctor Strange uses the Eye of Agamotto to reverse time in a timeless setting and just continuously barge on Dormammu to bargain with him, to a point where Dormammu is just like, fine, I'll bargain with you. But that was entertaining to say the least, probably one of the best parts of the film. But remember, this film is just good overall. It's in the middle of the pack. It doesn't feel like it's too terrible. And then again, it doesn't feel like it's overwhelmingly great. So once again, great performance by Cumberbatch. Also great performances by the supporting cast like Chiwetel Ejiofor and Tilda Swinton, who played the Ancient One. The film overall feeling neutral, like in the middle of being good and not terrible and not great, just plain good. A very more than overwhelming showcasing of visual effects, of CGI, of the overall illustration of the cosmos. And then of course the Dormammu scene being kind of a delight personally for myself. So all that being said, that's kind of the chunkage when it comes to the visual portrayal of this entire film. Let's go ahead and see if the audience respond positively to Doctor Strange. Act 3, response. Doctor Strange, take 1. Box office total wise, Doctor Strange came in at about $677 million worldwide. I believe at the time, or it still is, the biggest IMAX opening in the month of November. It also ranked 11th in most valuable blockbusters in the year of 2016, counting for the budget, counting for the marketing, counting for the revenue, and accounting for the expenses paid for the actors and whatnot. It ended up being ranked 11th, so within the top 15. And of course, with the visually appeasing nature of this film, it did get nominated for plenty of awards, especially dealing with visual effects categories. One in particular, Best Visual Effects for the Academy Awards of that year. While it did not win, it did get nominated, so that's a plus right there. And as far as the impression of the character and the film itself, I don't really see any type of negative connotation, nor do I see any overwhelmingly positive connotations on Doctor Strange as both a character and a film. And while it wasn't necessarily embraced wholeheartedly initially upon its release, it did take a film like the Avengers, Infinity War and Endgame, which we'll get to soon down the road, that kind of revitalized Doctor Strange and really kind of giving him more depth and more of a showcase that's more familiar and more cohesive when it comes to communications with other members of the Avengers. But as far as introducing us to the character, I think it does a great job in kind of giving us the Iron Man treatment. Egotistical guy gets kind of brought down to earth, gets a reality check, realizes that he can't just think about himself, he has to think about others, uses his powers actually for good, and actually becomes a hero. So overall, this film is like Iron Man, but without the cool robotic gadgets and a lot more trippy effects. All right, so once again, $677 million worldwide, 11th most valuable blockbuster for 2016, the highest box office opening for an IMAX film in November, and being nominated for numerous visual effects awards, including Best Visual Effects at the Academy Awards that year. And overall, the image of Doctor Strange as a character in the film not being fully embraced, still kind of being skeptic or questionable, but it was great to see the Iron Man treatment for it. All right, so with all 3 acts down, let's go ahead and nail my verdict for Doctor Strange. So, Doctor Strange kind of lives up to the name. It is strange, but in a positive manner. Seeing a Marvel film dive into interdimensional cosmos and diving into the arts of mysticism and whatnot really is a nice touch and a nice kind of branch to showcase for the MCU, with all of these different and very, very colorful characters being showcased in the past as well as going to be showcased in the future. It's real nice to know that Doctor Strange is being included, his character, his ways, his powers, and for it to be shown to the audience to get a better grasp of what Doctor Strange truly is. Benedict Cumberbatch is wonderful. I think he's really befitting for the Doctor Strange role. No wonder fans around the world lobbied for him to be a part of this project. Chiwetel Ejiofor, Benjamin Bratt, the Ancient One, Tilda Swinton, Mads Mikkelsen even, all of these actors and all these characters, solid job. I do also think that it's kind of in the middle of the bunch where it's good, but it can be greater, but it's not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. And just seeing kind of what could possibly happen when you portray a character such as Doctor Strange in the cosmos, where it's literally a mind-bending, mind-altering type of environment. It really is risky, but also a great you know, payoff, I think, for Marvel and the MCU. We get a showcasing of a new character, and we also get a new identity and a new type of flavor into the mix, if you will. When we've got gods, when we've got monsters, when we've got soldiers, when we've got billionaires, when we've got kings, when we've got teenagers, it's nice to know we got a surgeon that just happens to break dimensions and trip us out with these acidic-like visuals. So overall, it's entertaining, and I think that there is potential to be had there, but it's not terrible once again. I just think that overall, it's good. So with all of that being said, Doctor Strange for me deserves a nice, trippy, psychedelic 7.65 out of 10. And once again, I'm going through all the MCU films. We've gone through 15 thus far, so we are more than halfway for sure with all the MCU films. And here are my rankings, once again, for all the MCU films we've done thus far, from best to worst. Now updated with Doctor Strange. Once again, just because a film is either towards the bottom or at the bottom of the list doesn't mean that it's terrible. I just think the films above it are better. Without the spectrum of an MCU film, all of these films are great in itself. Good, borderline, great, borderline masterpiece. But none of them are terrible. They're just some that are better than others. And somebody's got to be at the bottom of the list. Sorry, Thor: The Dark World. But yeah, there goes my list. And if you're following along, then you know that we are going to be going back once again to a far, far galaxy, not named Star Wars. And we are going to rejoin with our misfit bunches. Once again, not Star Wars. It's going to be Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So be on the lookout for that. That actually won't be happening anytime in the near future, as this is December and I have something special in store for you guys for the month of December. Let's just say it involves 12 days and it involves Christmas movie classics on all 12 days. As far as my regularly scheduled Eugene reviews, this will be the last regularly scheduled Eugene reviews for the month of December, as well as for the remainder of the year. Next week will be a special video that I'll put out that's not necessarily a movie or television or a video game and whatnot, but an unboxing. Once again, when we reach the beginning of the Christmas season, I will be kickstarting a little bit of a project that will go on until Christmas Day. But those will be my final videos for the remainder of December, as well as the remainder of the year. I hope every one of you that have tuned in either today or previously have enjoyed what I've done thus far. I want to say thank you so much for tuning in either to this episode or previous episodes. Please like, share, subscribe, follow me on Instagram at Eugene Reviews. You can see all of my posts and all of my links towards all of my YouTube pages, as well as recommendations for TV shows and movies for the month of December. Any and all comments are welcome. Once again, as I always reiterate, I hope you guys enjoy watching these as much as I enjoy doing these. And yeah, once again, closing out 2020 with a bang. I hope that you guys enjoy everything that follows, and I hope you guys enjoy everything that I've done thus far. And I want to say thank you so much for all of the love and support over the past couple months since the beginning of this. And I hope to see all that support as well as more in the coming weeks, coming months, going into the brand new year of 2021. So thank you guys so much once again. Hope everybody enjoys the holiday season. Have a happy and safe holiday season. Have a happy and safe Merry Christmas and a happy and safe New Year. This is Eugene signing off for this regularly scheduled Eugene Reviews. I will see you again for more to come in the year 2021. And that is a wrap.
Ho, ho, ho.